You're listening to the Van Isle Podcast at the Globe Live Studio. Now, here are your hosts, Darcy McBride and Corey Rasmussen, with the man turning the dials, Bryce Hills.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Van Isle Pod. It's your boy, Darcy McBride, a.k.a. Details, hanging out at the Globe. Today, I have a very special guest with me. Before I get into it with him, I want to thank Lush Rooms, Mary Jane's Pure Cure, Firehouse Grill, and especially my boy Rich Scott right here at the Globe, along with Bryce Hills behind the dials for making this all happen, as well as the people who are attending today in the VIP section. So thank you very much. Without further ado, let's get into it. I got Ryan McMahon across the table from me, and unless you've been living under a rock for this past year, you live on the island, you know all about what this guy's been all about. We're going to get into it today. Ryan, thanks for joining me, man.
You're a better hype guy than Flavor Flav. That was great.
I'll try to show up with the watch around my neck next time, but I feel like, I can do it without.
Man. Yeah, this better be good.
I'm not going to promise you anything. So mid-year last year, came about on your music and found you doing your thing, attended the Queens, saw you in a live show capacity. Obviously, I'm doing what I'm doing with Hoodstock, with live shows and venues. That attracted me. However, in the last 6 months, it's grown on me quite a bit what it is you do away from music and kind of how you've been at it. So we'll get into some of the more colorful stuff, but for people who aren't maybe familiar, get them familiar with how Ryan McMahon stepped into the circle of music here.
Sure, yeah. No, I'm 43, and I have been a musician for 20 plus years. Toured our great country many times. Got to play my music abroad in Europe a little bit. I was in a band called Lion Bear Fox for many years. That was a bit of a collaboration, kind of a broken social scene type of situation. And I just can't quit. I just can't seem to quit, not even a pandemic. So I'm still playing music. And 2023, I have a new album called Live Now coming out. And it's really positive, up-tempo music, cool. And kind of probably my best offering to date, I would say.
Now, I ran through the last album on the way down here today, and when I got here and I told you that, you're like, yeah, there's a few downers on that album. And
bummer jams.
Yeah, bummer jams. There's a term you use. So
yeah.
Is that indicative, and we'll jump right into this first, because is that indicative of an album that was maybe made either or released during COVID or leading up to? Were you feeling any of that as an inspiration to why those are bummer jams, or was that simply Ryan growing at that point in the career?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm always growing, but I mean, and I'm no Nostradamus. Okay. I didn't know we were going to have a pandemic when I released that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just where I was in that moment. I mean, Christ, there's a song called Mortality on it.
We're talking late 2019, right? So rumors of pandemic were only starting to come out at that.
Well, I didn't hear any.
Yeah, okay.
I was on the plane.
Yeah.
I didn't hear anything.
Jet setting.
Yeah, I'm really proud of the record. I made it in a little cabin studio in the woods outside of Duncan called The Wood Shop with my friend Zach Cohen. And I would get up every day and make a lunch like my dad would make a lunch and head off to be a longshoreman.
Yeah.
Except I would go and I would make a record. And it was like I felt like a real man when I made that record every day. And I love it. It's just it's very chill in comparison to what's coming out in 23. And I think that's because I think like a lot of people, I was like really feeling really caged. And so I kind of went back in time to when I was like 18 and writing a little bit faster material. Yeah, okay. And I'm going through just a heavy midlife crisis. So I mean,
I didn't know we were in the same club there, right?
I want to rock again. So yeah, it's and Live Now. I mean, when we can get into that later on, but that's all about. I mean, I've lost some people, and I've seen some people I really care about and love go through some physical and mental changes in the last couple of years, and I just find myself wanting to slow everything down, enjoy the moment that I'm in a little more than I used to, and not sweat the small shit.
That's fair. We got into it kind of quickly, and excuse me, I did miss two things, actually. One,
it's delicious.
The conspicuous absence of my co-host, Corey Rasmussen, who is, well, he's here in more than spirit because he took care of some fantastic Van Isle pod glasses for myself and Ryan, but he's not here today due to being in Victoria and being monitored for his recent chemotherapy. And on that note, Ryan, I also want to double back on something that I meant to touch on initially. Sure. When you showed up here today, it was with a heavy heart, and you said that this new record reflects on losses, and I'm sure it doesn't reflect on this one as it's so current, but I want to take a second and let you speak about your friend Sean as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's this guy Sean Sherstone. He took my photo many times. He took my wedding photos.
I saw the photos today on Facebook. So yeah.
And it's funny because he went through this renaissance, this personal renaissance later in life, where he kind of cut out the junk food and started treating himself a little better, and started running. And he was running, Ladysmith's on where I'm from, where we're from. It's on a hill, and it's just up and down. He was doing the grid all over town, and you'd see him running all the time, and he was so happy, and he had all this energy, but then he did get cancer. And he's just been battling it, and it's just been so tough to watch. And I haven't seen him in some time, but I have. When you make songs and you make films and you make podcasts, you make art, it's gonna last longer than you.
Yeah.
And so as soon as, Sean started getting sick, he's one of those guys that I did all this collaboration with, this visual collaboration with, that I could just go reference it and go, oh man, you were there on my wedding day. There's a photo of my wife and I in our room, just on off to my side of the bed. And he took that. So I can see his eyes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah. So yeah, this is thinking of Sean tonight for sure.
Salute and cheers to him.
And Corey as well, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what, Corey, I'll tell you, I ran into him yesterday, and he's a few days through stage 3 of his latest round of chemo. And when you see this, he'll already be far beyond past that, because we're talking New Year's Day and a happy New Year 2023 to everybody out there. But he's crushing it. And we've got a support system in place that we're fucking, dude, we're not taking no for an answer. The answer is no has been him and I's quote now for almost a year, because the first time he initially got back in the hospital was right before Christmas of last year. Yeah. And, I went and sat with him many, many days. I was bringing him meals and shit like that just to try to keep him nourished. But he was telling me everything he's telling me. And I turned around, I just looked at him, I'm like, the answer is no. And he's like, huh? And I said, that's all you got to remember. The answer is no. And he's like, okay. So we've really kind of stepped into that. And
this guy's your best friend. This guy's like,
this guy's on this hand of people that,
sure.
Yeah,
is he number 5 though?
You gonna fucking put me on Front Street? Let's see. He's at least entered the top. Is he ring finger? Ring finger looks pretty good, if you ask me, Ryan.
Good Lord, you got the intercontinental belt on your ring finger there.
Ball ring finger.
Holy crow!
I can't lose the rapper image.
I couldn't pull that off.
You could pull it off. You might need.
I could pull it off my finger.
You can't pull it off my finger.
So he's a comedian, right?
So he's a comedian. He's got some bits in the bank. He's doing his thing. He does the etching. It's a man of many talents, truthfully, and we're working on getting him back to those many talents as fast as possible. One of which is sitting here shooting the shit with us. Because
do you think if he was here that we would talk about him as much as we are?
Probably, honestly, yeah. And he'd be sitting there going,
"Oh, okay." Hi, Corey.
I shamelessly got a lot of love, so shouts out to Corey Coyote. We'll see the Coyote Corner coming up quick. Who put a guitar in your hands, man? Not everybody grows up musically inclined instrumentally. Lots of people can sing. A lot of people can write. Sure. I'm one of those people that owns a pen quite well, in my humble opinion. I can't play the fucking drums, the guitar. It's not my world. How do you step into that?
It's a bit of a combination of realizing that early on, before I was chasing the craft of songwriting, I played alto sax in band.
Okay.
Right in between Mandy and Lori, and they taught me, how to maybe be a good boyfriend one day.
Oh.
Deeply in the friend zone for many years.
Embedded.
Oh yeah, immersed in the saxophonic friend zone, because that's all it's going to get you.
Absolutely.
Apologies to Juno winner Phil Dwyer.
Aside from all the blowing references you can make about a saxophone,
you get about one good one in, and then they're no more.
Spent.
So I really started singing first.
Yeah. Okay.
High school bands. I found that I had a voice. It wasn't great yet, and I was emulating heroes at that time. Really wearing influences on sleeves and ripping them off.
Yeah.
Takes some time to find yourself, but what I found over time was just being a singer and trying to explain the melodies that you wanted delivered took more time than it was going to take to actually learn a fucking instrument.
Yeah.
And so I just picked up a guitar I remember.
So you literally picked it up in band class at school, and you're like, "That's cool." And then
yeah, I mean,
you're
like
"Let's
I had
run
my
with it."
parents buy me like an acoustic one. I had more rhythm than I did skill. Like I still don't.
Okay.
I'm not going to take a solo ever. Nobody wants to hear that.
Oh shit.
Really right hand guy like Pete Townsend of the Who and guys like that are my heroes. Elvis Costello.
Are there
Rhythmic.
ambidextrous guitar players? Here's me showing my ignorance to the craft. Do you see many guys that can flip that guitar like a baseball player will and hit from both sides of the plate?
Switch hitters, yeah. Really niche guys.
Okay.
And that would be the thing they do.
Yeah, okay. That's why you go to the show.
That you go to the show and like, oh no, he's just a right-handed a minute ago, and now he's left. But the songs aren't that good.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you. All right.
I don't know. I've never seen it. But yeah, no, I
I
learned.
didn't even know I had to ask you that until you mentioned how like you're like right hand dominant. I'm like, is there ambidextrous guys just change the side of the plate? And he's
There
gonna
has
come
to
out with
be.
a fucking guitar holding it the other
Well,
way.
you
and-
walk off the earth, you got 9 people around a guitar, and they make it happen. So I mean,
All right, we're on another level there.
Right?
That's another podcast.
do you know those guys?
I don't know who you mean offhand, but I feel like I've seen a video of like one dude's playing a fret, one
That's
dude's
it.
playing it. Yeah, that.
There's like a kazoo,
Okay.
and I can't do that.
I didn't take enough acid to understand it when I watched it the first time. I might have to double back and.
It's pretty good.
I'm sitting here talking to the Side Door Concerts Artist of the Year 2022.
Not the artist of the year, just one. I think it was just like
They're falsely advertising.
Well, no, they said I was one of the.
You were an Artist of the Year.
I was
That's far less prestigious.
I was
man.
a side door top
sidebar
artist.
side door artist.
Yeah.
Did you even perform for him? We're here now. No, I'm kidding. So tell me a little
Sure.
bit about. Tell me about Side Door, man. I've seen you working with them all year.
Sure.
I see them with multiple genres of artists that
Sure.
they book.
Yeah.
What is it with these guys that makes them like such a big help to artists at our level?
Yep. So Dan Mangan and I, we came up in Vancouver. So I moved from Vancouver Island to Vancouver, and
Big shot. Slow down.
well, no,
Slow down, man. We were just talking about,
I mean, it's just Cambion, Georgia.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Keep going.
It's not.
You
the,
weren't up in British properties, and we don't have to.
It's not the QE Theater. It's just attached. It's the club downstairs.
I got you.
So I used to play like open mics and stuff. I come up with Dan. Dan's obviously been very successful. Won a couple Junos. Traveled all over the world. Made brilliant records. I'm a huge fan. More cool than any of that though is just Dan's a rad guy.
Okay.
And so like there's a bunch of us, Adrian Glynn, Corey Woodward. We all kind of came up cheering each other on. And Dan's still cheering everybody on, despite all of being busy with all his own successes. So he and Laura Simpson from out in Halifax, I believe. They put together this program called Side Door, facilitating basically cool shows in intimate spaces. Could be houses, coffee shops, whatever the fuck this is now.
We'll get there.
And and yeah, and it's just it's a great thing because all boiled down. You can go say you're it's Tuesday and you're in Red Deer. You could go play the pub for $300 and a case of beer. And you still got to feed your drummer, bass player, guitar player, maybe piano player, and then there's nothing left for you. Or you can go play a house and maybe you make $1,000 or $500, right? And even better than that, it's not just a really loud, boisterous audience. It's maybe it's like a pin drop audience.
They want you to be there.
They want you to be there. You're the reason they're there. It's like a birthday party for you, perfect for a little narcissist like myself. And
spotlight's on me.
Yeah, and they'll listen to the stories about how the songs came to be.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's what Side Door facilitates. And I mean, I'd been doing house concerts for years already, but then, we start working together too. And I think, I don't know, I've only done, because we are just coming out of the pandemic and stuff, but I've only done maybe 7 to 10 Side Door shows this year. But I do champion them a lot.
Yeah.
And so when
I've
there's
seen you
that
guys synonymous for most of the year, so that's why I had
Totally,
to ask.
man.
And a meme got shared, and I'm 99% sure it actually wasn't you because you just worded it differently. So if you were going to quote it, I thought you would have bitten it. But it said something about did a show at a club for 30 people for drink tickets, did a show in a living room for 30 people and made $500. And it's like that, if you're a niche artist and you have that pull and ability and you're actually professional about it, even in a small town, you can go yield those shows outside the beaten path And whether you're renting a venue, or you're doing it in a backyard type setting. I mean, we do a couple of those every year too, and the artists can get paid appropriately off of it.
Yeah.
Everybody came there to see the artist. They're not there for a drink and, oh, hey, there happens to be a guy on stage. So you end up with a better audience too.
And weird markets.
Yeah.
Like Okotoks, like outside of Calgary.
I know where that is in Alberta.
Daysland, Alberta. Kenora, Saskatchewan. Yeah. Go to those places because they're going to be really happy that you came to see them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not just, Saskatoon, Regina, Prince Albert, Go to those weird markets. They're gonna be so stoked you're there.
Yeah, we did 21 show tour here recently with the collective I've got, and some of the shows like Prince George. When we did Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, Prince George, they came right out and showed right out and were there for the whole. And it was like a Wednesday or a Thursday night. And they're like, "Yo, these guys we don't get a lot of concerts here. So if you go bless that community in that city with something they're into coming out to see, you end up leaving going, holy shit, we got to go back to Prince George." Pilot episode problems, Ryan. Did somebody not pay the fucking light bill? Anyway, sorry. As we were saying,
between two amateurs. So
get this.
Peanut Butter and Jealous, though. I've never had a good show in Prince George.
Really?
Never. No.
Man.
I mean, I've only played 3.
In fairness, I'm going to say it's slightly genre specific. I have some friends up there who do a thing called Certified Music Group, and they brought 35 guys out. 20 of them and girls. 20 of them had the same chains on. They're oil money, but they're also very rap focused and situated. And we sold out a venue there. We were at a bigger venue this time in
not a lot of chains at my shows.
No, really, eh? Oh, well, we'll try and change that. We'll try and change that and see what we can do. You mentioned, an intimate crowd listens to where the song comes from. And this is one I was going to ask you, since Jonah and I, my boy Jonah O, that's here tonight in the VIP section, we came and sat at the Queens and watched, and you gave a little prequel to, but it really caught my eye. This house is not for sale.
Yeah.
Explain to me where that comes from. As a kid, Polish kid, raised by his grandma who used to make him pierogies. I used to live in her house growing up.
Yeah.
In her and my grandparents' house. And when I heard this house is not for sale, my uncles live in my late grandparents' house, which one day will probably be my sister and I's house. That house is not for sale.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Lucky
you do know what I'm saying.
I do, yeah.
So explain a little bit about whoever might have dug through your crate and found This House Is Not For Sale.
Sure.
The prequel.
Yeah, my grandparents, my dad's parents were really my first audience.
Yeah.
They really so starting really with Bob, my grandpa Bob, they're both gone now. Bob was you think you hear the word grandpa, grandfather, and you kind of hear you kind of picture in your head the stoic old guy by the fire with the pipe and the paper. Just, you know what I mean? He was just not that at all. He was just full of energy, wildly inappropriate wherever he went,
awesome.
all over town.
Spicy.
Really a dirty old man. And was just so funny.
He'd had a podium put in front of him like numerous times over the week if it was little.
Not now.
Alive.
Not now. He's not missing anything now. He had a thing like around Ladysmith called a trap line where he just like talked to girls. It was nothing, it was nothing. He never was
putting it down, dude.
Was never out of line, and Grandma was always number 1 on his trap line. That was
way.
That was the thing,
dude.
Yeah.
Does this guy know Pimp Don Bishop Juan?
I don't know who that is.
Snoop's buddy in the green outfit who's...
bring your green hat.
Yeah,
I know what that is.
Yes. I didn't know we'd have an old school reference here tonight, but that is exactly who I mean. Okay. Is Bring Your Green Hat from the Snoop Dogg performance.
That's all I know.
That's him, Pimp Don Magic Juan.
Okay.
He keeps a few of his finest female associates on him, and one of them is his significant other. And together they run a lucrative business. Is the way I'm going to word it.
That's right.
Stay on YouTube.
Okay. Jesus, how do I segue back to fucking? All right. So Bob and Phyllis, yeah. So they were,
Bob's an old pimp. We can start
I would do like impressions that I would see on TV, and like making him laugh was really like my MO every day.
Nice.
Because I had to pass by their house on the way to high school.
Yeah. Okay.
For 5 years, and home again too. And anyway, yeah. So they were just like super music. Well, he was not, but she was really super musical. And so the two of, comedy and like moving an audience and making someone experience a reaction of any kind, that converged there. And so, fast forward to now I'm an adult and everybody's getting older. He passes away while I was on tour in just outside of PEI. That was the toughest show I ever had to play and get on stage that night. Because he wasn't a grandpa, he was like a best friend.
Yeah, he's your buddy. Yeah.
And he's like a bro. And so he goes, and then during the pandemic, grandma died at 98. I mean, would solid runs, 90 and 98.
Totally.
So we had.
No wonder you look like you're 23 at 42. Jesus, dude.
We'll
You guys
live
got the fountain
forever.
of youth in your backyard.
Yeah.
No wonder the house is not for sale, Ryan. Anyway.
Yeah. Well,
Continue.
sadly, it was.
Oh, shit.
And so
Shooter McGavin bought it, like a scene out of Happy Gilmore, or what? Lost it at the auction.
Who has it? Nah, just regular people.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
Anyway, so when it came time to relinquish the family home, I always say I say this a lot on stage, but I couldn't afford therapy, so I wrote a song about it. And and it's like a staple of the live set. I've played it every show for years.
It switches your vibe up and it resets the hook on your live audience, in my opinion. Because right out of the gate, you had the full band with you that night. You guys were smashing it. Like I say, I'm not a big title of the song guy, but I was enjoying all of it. And then you almost like put the brake on. You're like, hey, you know what? What do you think of this? We're going to switch it up a bit. And then you laid that down. You reinvested everybody's ears in it.
Super
and
chill.
Then went on with the rest of the set. I really like the layout of it.
It's a bit of a palate cleanser.
100%.
Like if you're playing a bunch of bangers in a row and then you just bring it right back down.
Yeah,
and
totally.
personalize it too.
Totally.
Because I think, odds are half or more of your audience have been through that.
Totally. Well, I mean, that's why
Yeah.
it registered with me.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, that's the corner of Wharton and Howard Street in
Totally.
Harewood, where my grandparents, I grew up in that house. I know the backyard inch for inch type thing, right? It's one of those things.
Yeah.
You mentioned having the band with you, but I also noticed when you were on tour and logistics, financials, etc. I mean, sometimes you don't have the band with you.
Yeah.
As a dude who musically, for the most part, it's my DJ and I can get by on stage because I'm not playing live instrument. That has to be like a world changer. And for artists who maybe aren't specific and like familiar with that, how different is it to go play an acoustic show or to have your 3-piece minimum band, I'm guessing, behind you?
The band is more difficult for me
For real.
because I do it less.
Okay.
So I'm actually more comfortable just playing on my own.
Okay.
Because I've just done it more logistically. I mean, Lion Bear Fox was, we were a band for 7.5 years and we were touring like incessantly, like all the time. But when that kind of stopped, I knew that I could go to all kinds of different venues, house concerts, small listening halls, wherever. And I knew that I could make a living, support my family.
Yeah.
Easy if I could deliver a show that was funny, entertaining, hopefully a little bit insightful. Hopefully it sounded good.
Yeah.
Just reached the audience. And I know how to do that on my own. Sometimes a band, bless their hearts, they can get in the way.
Yeah.
And the songs don't breathe always as much because it's all like right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I do have great players now. But they don't all get hired at the same time sometimes.
That's fair.
Like March and April, it'll just be me and my piano player, Uncle Joel.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you don't take all the pieces, so to speak, of that band
Not
necessarily
always.
everywhere.
I mean,
so you
like a
acoustically
festival
with a piano player is going to come across way different than you with heavy drums and the bass guitar and everything else behind you. So you're almost creating like different shows almost.
It is.
Yeah.
And that way they'll have me back maybe more. You know what I mean?
Well, don't get too excited, but yeah, I understand where you're coming from.
Like I'll be back in 2 months with like the drummer and he'll bring a djembe.
You're going to be gone pretty soon. I mean, by the time that people watch this, you might already have your bags packed. So you're heading to Ireland in the new year, and then and then you're on a little venture after that. What are you doing over there in beautiful Ireland, the sunny, beautiful, tropical Ireland?
Well,
I'm McBride over here, buddy. A beer and an orange mustache are about the only Irish traits. I guess fist fighting maybe too, but beyond that.
that's going to be the thing is like I'm not going to be able to. I'm going to have to keep this like
Is it
under
a business trip?
No, well, yes, it is.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes, it is. No, I mean I'm going to go and I'm going to play, It's the Showing Your Roots Festival.
Oh, okay.
All right. So there's a bunch of us. We go over there. And Kathleen's been my manager for a long, long time. She's my wife. The family business. We're going to go over there. We'll fly over. We'll be over there 10 days. We'll add some other shows around the festival to make it a little bit more financially feasible.
Yep.
Hit Kansas City, another festival, Folk Alliance on the way home, then come home, be dad for a little bit, and then go back on tour again.
You passport stamp fucking
Yep.
just all over the place.
Like the old days, like 2019.
Like the back when we were young men, Ryan.
That's right.
So that's kind of cool. So being that you have Irish heritage, are there people over there like excited for you to come there? Is it a promoter that's hip to your music? What is it, just to be able to go and say like, I went back to my homeland and crushed a couple festivals? What was the real carrot here?
No, I mean, Kathleen applied for a festival without me even being aware of it.
So thank you, Kathleen. We owe you. All right, that's fair.
Yep. And she came into the kitchen. She said, "We're going to Ireland." And
You're cooking dinner. You're like, yes,
for
ma'am.
me, sure, yeah. For me, it's like just another market.
I cook dinner too. I'm not trying to demean you.
No, so do I.
I made a delightful dinner last night, actually.
Was it spaghetti?
It was like Thai spaghetti. It was udon noodle pasta. You know what udon noodle is?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm from
beautiful.
Ladysmith, but I know what udon is.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Christ.
It was a nice Thai, walk.
Yeah.
I walked it all the way to the finish line, so to speak. I'm shockingly Caucasian, but I can make a not bad Southeast Asian dish.
What's the sauce?
I can't put that. We're gonna have to bleep this part out.
What are we even
Secret.
talking about
It's a
now?
Secret. Well, we were started somewhere else. I kind of jumped across to making udon noodles from where you were talking about having pasta, but
Yeah. You went from Ireland to Asia.
Kathleen is the topic of conversation here because she put you in Ireland.
She's
So
always the topic of conversation.
Let's get back to where you're coming from after Ireland. You're going to Kansas City, Missouri?
Yes.
What do you
Second
do-
time there.
What do you do? Are you hanging out with Tech Nine?
Oh, that's another hip hop reference, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. Yeah.
You're going to have to fucking
we'll-
dial those back,
We'll hang out
man.
after, and I'll pick him up to date on that one. He's the biggest hip hop artist,
this
and you know what? To his credit, he's actually the model independent artist in the world. So even both of us might as well give him a shout out. So shouts out to A Yates, Tech Nine, friend of mine / very accomplished independent artist.
Isn't Tech 9 also a gun?
We don't talk about that stuff on YouTube, Ryan. But if you'd like to come out to my car later, I can. No, I'm kidding.
All right.
I don't have that in the car. Just
Guys,
for the
what's
record.
he doing over here? Making a
For the
sandwich? Okay. Yeah.
So KC Mo,
yeah,
Kansas City,
yeah,
Missouri.
yeah. Second time there. First time I was there. I love food a lot. It's
Yeah.
the best barbecue in the world.
Oh man,
It's fantastic. It's Folk Alliance. And basically they take over a hotel and just shows in every hotel room on the first maybe 4 floors. And
way.
yeah, and I'll be doing some showcasing at that as well.
that's pretty cool.
It's folkily noisy. So it's not
Holy
gonna,
folk, that
yeah,
sounds dope.
Yeah. It is. It's pretty sweet.
So you're gonna get to be aligned not only with a bunch of musicians, but you're gonna have a whole bunch of eyes that, correct me if I'm wrong, I've looked at a few maps, cannot find their way to Nanaimo, Vancouver Island, Ladysmith very easily. You get to be to a whole new collection of people.
Yeah.
How important is that in 23? Because you've been crushing it around here. You did the BC, Alberta stuff and all that. How much is abroad the focus for you in 23?
All I really care about, honestly, and it doesn't matter how far it is or even where it is. Doesn't matter if it's New York or It's so funny. You go see like a roots songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, I just got back from Nashville. Yeah, okay. I don't know.
That's like a given.
It's just
that
like
means I made it.
It's just it's like
Yeah.
a little bit like, or they're from like Calgary and they all say y'all. Cut it out, guys. Yeah, I mean, it's for me. I'm kind of old fashioned in that like I'm always just looking for more opportunities in markets that I haven't been before. That's really all I care about,
That's the
because I
name of
know
the
you
game.
cannot keep doing. Well, shit, Ryan's on another Western Canadian tour. Like, bless their hearts for always having me back, but you cannot just go to
Yeah.
the same places and expect to grow,
What are
right?
some of your focuses for 23 in terms of destinations? Anywhere that's like on the map, you're like, I got to go there and
No.
play for whatever reason.
No, it's just not. Yeah, it's just not the way I operate. No, opportunities present themselves all the time. I'm okay. There's one place I want to go, but it's
Okay,
nothing
here
to
we
do
go.
with music. I want to go to fucking Fenway Park.
Awesome.
I'm a massive
So what are
baseball
you doing?
fan.
Are you like singing the national anthem? Are you like, you're not American, but you could be
I'll
there
sing
to-
it though. I
was
used to
just
do
gonna
that
say,
at Nat
yeah.
Bailey.
So is that That's like
Yeah.
your home run is to be in Fenway doing that pre-Red Sox game.
No, I just want to see a game.
You just want to see a game.
Yeah.
Are you going to sing the anthem from your seat for the section you're in?
No. No, I just love baseball. I just love no, I want like what I love doing is so like the first time we went to I've been to Denmark to play a festival over there twice.
Cool. Okay.
So in 2017, I looked at Kathleen and said, "Hey, we've never been on a honeymoon. So let's swing over let's overshoot Denmark cuz bless their hearts, but like Denmark wasn't a destination for me." I said, I always want to go to Italy. She wanted to go to Tuscany. So let's go to Italy. Let's have that honeymoon, then swing on back, do the festival, which will pay for the Italy vacation. See,
I like it.
That's kind of how I do it, So yeah, wherever they'll have me and pay me okay, I'll be right over.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I feel like in this day and age, all the international traveling, Kathleen, I'm not discounting your ability, but social media has a huge leg up in this day and age and generation.
Yeah.
However, the old double-edged sword, because as a musician, the bigger you get, the more every word you say is amplified, the more chance you have to be in different markets and say something that can get a podium slid in front of you tomorrow morning.
It's the podium.
So how does Ryan McMahon, I just look at it like you just said something and next thing you know, there's lights, camera, podium. I didn't mean to say what I said. How does a guy who has a microphone in front of him now and fairly regularly, who I know off the record to be a pretty fun, kind of shoot from the hip kind of person. How do you keep that in the holster in certain markets or certain places where you're out having fun and kind of living your dream here to some level?
Just think before you speak, which I'm not always great at. I'm always going for a laugh, and sometimes you can miss. I mentioned Folk Alliance in Kansas City. Folk Alliance moves around a little bit. It's often in Kansas City, but I remember one of those times where I was maybe a few beverages in. I had already showcased, so I was in a fantastic mood. I knew I didn't have any more work to do other than maybe regale
off the clock, so to speak.
Exactly. Yeah. Other than maybe regale somebody, that you're meeting for the first time.
Yeah.
And I was having some jokes with an artist. That's it. That's all I can do here tonight. But just a new artist.
So we're not trying to put anybody in front of another podium.
That's fine. That's fine. But I was doing an impression with an affected voice, and I'm really transparent about that. I make mistakes all the time. And she just said, really like quietly though. She didn't make a big issue of it. She was super cool.
She was the lady about it.
She was just like, hey man, you need to update your shit. Yeah. And I just took it and I put it in my pocket, and she was exactly right.
That is the most eloquently way put I've ever heard. Hey, give your fucking head a shake on 2022.
Yeah, and I wasn't saying anything disparaging about any certain particular group or anything like that. I was just a little bit over the top.
Yeah.
It was certainly booze fueled. I come from Vancouver Island, the son of a longshoreman who's the son of a longshoreman. So
got some colorful language in that tackle box.
There just is, and and it's just.
Do you think intent has been misconstrued these days in a way because of stuff like social media, where you can get a clip of what happened and not show the before or after, and people are being sold on what is maybe either a keyword or like a hype 5-10 seconds, but you didn't see the 30 seconds before it and the 30 seconds after it.
Is this sort of like the version of going back 10 years and finding the one tweet? Like on the Tuesday and
it drives me crazy if I'm being honest.
And
As
just
a sports and
just
a media
ruining a guy.
It's such low hanging fruit, and you hear people in sports bitch all the time. Right now we got Alex Ovechkin. I'm a huge sports hockey fan.
Right.
He's taken Gordie Howe's record. He might have done it tonight, the night we're shooting this. He's about to take Gretzky's record. And you'll have people bitch incessantly to no end about you can't compare eras. Ovechkin plays in an era where goalies are huge. Gretzky had a straight hockey stick.
Right.
Okay, maybe, but the game of hockey, you've been trying to put a puck in that net behind that fucking guy for 110 years. So the game hasn't really changed.
Sure.
So if the game back then was to get a rise or get a reaction or shoot from the hip and have a little fun with it and everybody goes home at the end of the night, pats each other on the back, I'm a white guy who does rap music, dude. I have to be very, very careful with what and how I speak, and that's cool. No offense, and to be honest, I've gotten the laugh for a few years, but I'm comfortable in my own skin.
No, it's a good way to say it, though.
I know the industry I'm in. I know the company I keep. I know the people I work with on a daily basis. I'm a fucking guest, and I will be forever.
Yeah,
and therefore, I know my prerequisites on what I can or can't even be playful with, because it's just not worth what happens in the long run. And I think I remember graduating from broadcasting school and my teacher going, hey, listen, congratulations, you have a diploma that's going to be irrelevant in 2 years, because anybody with a smartphone and an internet connection is now going to be a broadcaster.
Yeah.
So good luck. And I was like, holy fuck, is he right? 8 years later, Peter Shad, voice of the Vancouver Whitecaps, formerly, I think he got fired. He probably deserved it. Sorry, Peter. He was right. He was right.
Well, what did he do?
He was probably an asshole, like he was to me for most of schooling, even as a good teacher. Sorry, he knows. It's okay. We talk still. Shouts out to Peter Shad. He deserved to get.
We're like getting up to the line. We're like, this is the weirdest interview I've ever done.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's where we're going with it.
Yeah, great.
So
good.
When we have people in the spotlight who have a microphone in front of them all the time, is intent being taken in the wrong way these days because you can clip the part that helps your argument? I guess that's where I'm going with it. Before, you used to have to watch the whole interview.
Yeah. Yeah.
You didn't get 30 seconds from this guy had his phone out and let's crucify and make this guy's life hard after today.
I honestly, I don't think a lot about it, because I am, whenever I am at work on stage or in an interview, and especially the last couple of years, I'm not even consciously, I don't worry about it, because actually that working guy is actually the best version of me.
Okay.
If I could be that guy all the time, husband, father,
that's awesome.
That guy's the best Ryan.
Okay.
Cut that out. That was third person shit. But you know what I'm saying,
we're
right?
Gonna emphasize that. We're gonna get it from 4 different angles, and
just be kind. All my songs are honest, truthful. They speak from the heart. Yeah. So whatever I'm saying in between those songs or during interviews, better reflect that.
Yeah.
And so I'm always trying to be that person I want to be, that artist I want to be.
Yeah. I catch you off stage and you're a little more colorful than the artist who is on stage. And I personally think that's not at all to your detriment, because sometimes you'll run into somebody who's so safe when they're not in that spotlight that you're like, I don't even know who that person, I only know them through the album.
Sure.
And I think there's some value to that these days, of that you're seeing reality step back into music. In my own lane of hip hop and rap music, we're starting to see that like introspective lyrical version of a musician, because we lost a bunch of years to having guys and girls, doesn't matter what being celebrated for mediocrity. And I feel like that has affected music's like high watermark over the last few years. And it is refreshing to see artists that are like yourself, that are like, I'm prideful about everything I do. I'm not putting anything out half-assed. It means I don't put anything out for a bit. That's fine. But you also won't catch me offside while I'm not putting music out being detrimental to my career. I guess like that's where I'm coming at it from, because a musician's only a musician for 40 minutes a night. You're Ryan for 23 hours and 20 minutes.
And it's exhausting.
Yeah.
Being Ryan. For me, I don't worry about that stuff. I really don't. I heard a rumor you might ask me something about that, but just, you know what, man, the world is on fire. Be kind. You know, I know it's really cliche, but just like love. If you hear something in my art or my songs, or even if you laugh at one of my jokes in between the songs, because there's always, if you come and see a live show, you
keep some levity to it. I like that.
You're gonna go see a Caucasian singer-songwriter with a beard. Oh, good, another one.
What's he trying to say?
Well, you know what I mean? There's just so many. You can open up a can of us and just pour us out, and it's always very introspective, kind of reflective tunes, and of course, because that was the job, and I started writing songs to process my heart and my head, and to try and relate my human condition with maybe somebody out there.
Totally, yeah.
And so, like, if I'm always doing that from a place of kindness and like understanding, I think I'll be able to stay out of trouble.
That's fair.
You know, and I'm not. It's not like I'm internationally known either. They're not going to, do they care about a guy who's been slogging away for 23 years?
What did you just say about the 10-year-old tweet, though? Because you're about to do your international, you're going to be in different countries. This time next year, Ryan McMahon may have a bigger profile where they're like, hey, what did he say in 2014?
Sure.
I'm just saying it's one of those things where we now have to look at that digital footprint in a way. Like I had a different Facebook account a bunch of years ago, and I'm just thinking now, like, if they went through Detail's old Facebook account, they're not that I'm at a level where they're going to derail me too badly, but you just never know. And I always found it funny, that line of like, congratulations, you have a diploma that will be irrelevant in 3 years. Everybody with a phone is a broadcaster. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
The flip side of it is social media has allowed every artist to have a record label with Spotify, an outlet of a magazine with Facebook. However, now we're seeing social media making it harder for artists to advertise because they don't like the outside links.
Of course.
And so that's created us a whole new challenge. So you said earlier, I believe you played at Woodstock in '69. So I know you've been around music for a little bit.
What? No, I played Woofstock in Prince George, and they still owe me $575.
We're gonna get them on the phone after this. Don't worry about it.
Bullshit.
So as a person who's been at it for a minute, you've had to change. I mean, the reason I stepped away from music for 9 years is I was like, there's no way I'm making it from Nanaimo, BC, on the island, on the radio in LA, because it's just impossible. Now it's not at all impossible. So how's it been to change from a barometer of like, we got to get on the road and get on the radio to like, I can sit at home and get my music to the whole world?
I can't sit at home and make money in my racket.
Okay.
Not the same way. You certainly distribute your music and you can certainly reach new fans. But in terms of just that, I'm a very farm to table kind of musician, if you will.
Yeah.
I haven't kept up with all of, admittedly, and this is a total flaw in my game. I haven't kept up. I'm not going to do TikTok. I'm just not going to do it.
Okay.
I have an account. I fucked around with it a little bit.
Yeah.
It pisses me off. It's not about why I got into this in the first place. Get off my lawn.
I love this. All right, so you're not at 1,000 followers. You can't go live yet, so you have no value. I'm in the same boat. I don't know that I want to or need to use it. I have too many apps and too many things that put me out there. Why?
I can't do apps all day. There's just too many other things I like doing.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds cantankerous and like I'm an old curmudgeon, but
those are two good C words. Not the C words I'm used to hearing, but definitely two good ones.
Not in the hip hop game.
Definitely quality over quantity there.
Yeah, I just a lot of syllables. But I'm just not going to put there was a little bit of a window as the pandemic started to kind of, the door started to creep open a little bit. We did release a single called One More Fire. It did get some radio, which was my first radio in some time. Yeah. I was
waiting for that.
I was thinking that too.
Well, 45 minutes in, it's a good time to change the set. Thanks, Bryce. As you were saying, Ryan.
It's like Norm Macdonald's show.
I already might make a guest appearance here tonight from what somebody said, but...
Where was it? Yeah. I'm not going to worry about things that don't serve me spiritually.
Yeah, that's
also
fair. Yeah.
Like, I feel like I have a fairly decent Instagram game. Mm-hmm. Although my
Do you run your socials? Are you first person on that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
There was a short period of time during Lion Bear Fox's. Yeah, and it was just
How'd
not.
that feel for you? Were they trying to talk like you? Like trying to be you, but not you?
Yeah, and they were not.
Isn't that a weird thing to pay for? I've been there.
Yeah, we didn't do it for long.
Me neither, dude.
No, and it was like a gal. It was. It wasn't like a gal. It was.
What does that mean? 2022. She was like
no. See, don't. I know what you're gonna try and do, and it's just my career's not dying tonight.
We almost.
No.
There's a podium back. Anyway. Keep going, right?
Yeah, she was just, she'd do a couple statuses, and I remember just going, no.
Yeah.
I don't remember what she said. She was valiant effort, but no, not us.
Okay, so you talked about things you'd rather be doing.
Yeah.
We also talked about parenting a little bit earlier, and
yeah,
the whole like, hey, I'm an aspiring musician, but I can't answer my phone for a few hours because I have to parent for a bit. And it's like, that's very regular and average for the average person who, when they're done work at 5 o'clock, and I don't mean average in a negative way, I just mean the regular person in society. They get done work at 5 o'clock, they can parent for the evening. Sometimes Ryan's going to get a call about something business related, and it's
7,
in the
8,
middle
9.
of doing something with your kids, and you're like, shit. I can't juggle both of these, but if I ignore this one, in the long run, this one suffers. There's a juggling act there that goes on. And as somebody who's traveling, especially country to country and shit, how's the balance work out, man? How do you find the time for that? You're here in the snow during Christmas time to chat with us when you probably have better shit to do, and I appreciate it. So how is it that, you know, you find the balance between being a musician on that rise and still having your family life?
One of my heroes is this guy named Warren Zevon. In the 70s, he had a hit song called Werewolves of London. That's what you might know him for, right? And Warren Zevon got diagnosed, I guess we're going on 20 years now ago, with terminal cancer. First thing he wanted to do, rather than just spend all of that remaining time he had with just family, was he went right back into the studio. And he wanted to make the record of his life.
Okay.
Christmas Eve, you brought up Christmas. Christmas Eve, the boss, Bruce Springsteen, flew from one side of the country, so he's over in Jersey, of course, leaves Jersey. Oh, hey, buddy.
Dude, Santa didn't do anything to you, man, okay?
Sorry, it's fine.
Father Christmas.
Where'd you guys get all this Bangladesh plastic from? Where's this going to go after you're done with this?
We have other uses. There are Christmas cultures in other places that we recycle,
Lord.
double them back.
All right. So Springsteen flies from one side of the country down to the studio in L.A. to be with his friend Warren for the last time.
Okay.
Lays down some backup vocals. It ended up being this duet called Disorder in the House. Slayed it, ripped a crazy guitar solo. There's tears, there's friendship, there's hugs, but then he flies back on Christmas Day to be with his family. There's so many cool byproducts of being in this business and people you meet. I call them my biannual friends that I see just twice a year, and you see them and it's just like, man, if
you
we
can catch up in 5 minutes though.
Exactly. And if we lived in the same town, we would hang all the time.
Totally. That's the web that's built in this industry, though, too, is that web of those people around. It's how you get, the bigger you tour, the bigger the web becomes.
So my kids are old. They're 19, 17, and 12. The oldest two, I don't even think they really know that I'm there anymore anyway.
Okay.
They're busy living their lives.
Yeah.
There's been, I've described it a few times where kind of like the Martin Sheen scene in Apocalypse Now, when he's talking about tough, being there and being here, the dichotomy between the two, where he says, when I was there, I wanted to be here, and when I was here, I wanted to be back there, and there is that struggle. Like, I mean, you go back to the Ramada in Camrose, Alberta, you miss your wife.
100%.
You miss like, I love cooking. You miss making your own grub and stuff and all those. But I do say that it does make you appreciate all those normal things. Nobody takes out the trash like me at home.
Oh,
I'll take out the fucking trash when I'm home.
All-star.
And I don't mind it. I don't complain about it, But yeah, you do appreciate home a lot more when you're gone. But when you're gone, you only have to answer to you.
Yeah.
That's okay too for a little bit. That's a little vacation from domestication.
No,
So
that's true.
Does that answer that?
Yeah, no, there's so much, and I'm learning as a step parent. We chatted before we got started here. I've been in my stepdaughter's life for half of her life. She's coming up 6.5 and been around for half of that time, and just the way that it affects your logistics. If you, I mean, let's put it bluntly, there are unfortunately some parents on both sides of the gender side that aren't doing their job, and when you end up in a situation where you're not even biologically the parent of this child, and you end up going, oh shit, I'm invested and I want the best for this kid.
Sure. And sometimes you're the most solid unit there.
Yeah. And you begin to put that out for them, and you're like, well, now I'm going to sacrifice a little bit of my own success, because in the long run, if I'm going to stick it out in this with this child's life, I want them to be successful.
Yeah.
And you know, that's a road that, like, as somebody who grew up and I was like, I don't think I'll have kids. I'll have my dogs. You know what I mean? Shouts out to Brenda. You know, I'll have my dogs, and this little one stepped in and kind of threw a big wrench into the plans in a great way. And so, you know, we do our Sunday at the pool. We're cooking dinner, you know, all that kind of different stuff. And my Christmas present to myself, based on a lot of that, was an $80 flip phone. It's the most piece of shit phone you can buy.
Yeah.
There's no data. It makes in the form of an emergency. I can call a tow truck or an ambulance. And some days my smartphone is staying home because I just got to go to the pool with the kid. Or I got to go out, and that's not going to take the place of whatever success can happen, even at our age of mid, late 30s, early 40s, wherever you're at in the game of being an aspiring musician. I'm going to take one real quick second off with Ryan, and I want to talk to you guys real quick as we step in to a segment we're going to do here on the VIP podcast, and it's called D's Notes. We're going to let Don Andrews bring you in here real quick.
Looking for new stuff? Who's dropping music and who's coming to town? Check out D's Notes.
So look, as you know, it's your boy D, Darcy, a.k.a. Details. I'm knee-deep in the music game here all over the island, whether it's Ryan McMahon, whether it's Mr. Esquimalt, whether it's me, myself, all different genres. And today I'm here to tell you about 2 records you got to check out, okay? Hell Made, Mr. Esquimalt featuring Mercules. I know all you guys out there know who Merc is. My boy Cole, congratulations on all the successes. Him, Mr. Esquimalt have released a great project. You're going to want to check that out. The second release is something that came out on Christmas Eve Day. The man is in the VIP section right now. Jonah O has released Toothache and has now released Too Close for Comfort, the 3rd single from a 6-song, maybe 7-song, project coming out in early 2023. So check that out. Jonah O, Too Close for Comfort, and Mr. Esquimalt featuring Mercules, Hell Made. Those are D's Notes for this week. You can catch me again next week letting you know what's hot and popping. Now let's get back to it with Ryan McMahon.
D's Notes.
So we talked a little bit before.
Just wait a second.
Okay. Yeah.
That was fantastic.
Thank you.
That was fantastic.
That's what I'm trained for.
You're really good at this.
Thank you. I thought you said this was the weirdest fucking interview you ever had.
Oh no, it's still that.
Perfect, as long as we got both bases covered.
But that was fantastic.
Thank you.
So tight.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, ask me anything.
Tell me about Elbow Room. Anything. Hold on. No. Tell me about Elbow Room.
Elbow Room Recordings. The industry has found it hard, I think, to compartmentalize me, whether it's rock or country. What is he?
You just can't put him in a box, okay? You just can't.
No, I know. Like, kind of, it sounds a little cliche, but I do think it's a
Very.
little bit true. Because there's a lot of different styles that I like. So Elbow Room was born because we just really needed to take care of things ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
The more work we did ourselves in-house, the more successful things got. We absolutely do have a team that surrounds us. We work with a great lady from Florida named Stacy Taylor. She helps us out with distribution worldwide. You know, my agent Margot. Margot basically is Joey Tribbiani's agent. Basically the same kind of character.
There's a reference for you. If you don't know who Joey Tribbiani is, talk to your parents.
Margot's awesome. Like, yeah, I can call Margot and go, Margot, you know, like I need a show in Saskatoon for February 26th. And she's like, oh, not a lot of work in Saskatoon this week, Ryan. And I just love Margot so much. She's worked with Lion Bear Fox for some years, and then me as well. So there are these sort of this orbit of people that do help us out. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, it's been Kath and I for years.
Cool.
And that's why.
Yeah, absolutely. Off the cuff question, does it feel even a little better when you go and do shit like we're going to Ireland and we're going to this and your teammate's your wife, rather than making the call every night to go, hey, we're in here. Does she accompany you on a lot of the, is she accompanying you for this whole run and shit? Like that's gotta be a little extra icing on the cake of being able to do this.
Yeah, she doesn't go to like Alberta.
I don't blame her.
She wants to do the cool shit.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, so it's like
sorry to Alberta. We're gonna be out there in February. Please come see all of our shows. Ryan, please continue.
Yeah, no. No, but she's been there before, you know what I mean? But it's the more majestic places. She's never been to Ireland. I've never been to Ireland. And it makes sense. And you know what? Yes, she does get to do the cool stuff. We'll go check out some cliffs and stuff like that. But But at the end of the day, while I'm maybe talking to Shooby Doo over here about my plans for the new year and what my record's all about, she's across the room. We're not joined
Straight
at the
up.
hip.
Yeah.
She's across the room.
Making moves.
Exactly.
Getting the next bag.
Repping the label.
Dude, you guys are going to be like St. Lucia. You're going to be like down in the islands. Be like, they have a market for you here. And you're going to be like hanging out on the beach. That's not a bad person to have as your tour router, man.
Man, yeah.
I like sandy beaches too, but when the lady is booking them for you. And
she's so organized too. Like,
that's
and
awesome.
that's not where I'm not that way.
Yeah.
I play guitar and she plays the papers.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Let's jump over to something that is arbitrary for every person that makes music and listens to it. What did your Spotify Wrapped look like in terms of as an artist? Christ, you said sorry. As an artist, were you a little bit like, holy shit, we've got countries I didn't know listening to me? And as a consumer, what does Ryan McMahon listen to?
Oh, that's where I hope you were going with it.
Let's do the boring part first.
We will. We'll talk about
boring part. No one cares who's listening to you. Let's be honest. No one's even going to watch this fucking podcast. But
talk about my Spotify optics some more.
Except Bryce. Bryce will watch it. He'll have to. He's editing the fucking show. Anyway.
Yeah. You good? Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm going to answer. Okay. My Spotify optics. Yeah. What was that question again?
Well,
just kidding.
Kind of back out of the. Who the hell listens to Ryan McMahon? Because I don't know anybody.
Brazil.
Really?
Brazil and Poland. But I know why.
People.
But I know why.
Those are my people right there.
It's because years ago I had a song on a television show called Californication.
Okay.
That's still in syndication a lot of different countries. Yeah. Okay. And so that's where that's coming from.
Very cool.
The bulk of that. And it's cool because it does direct them into some of my other material as well. And then who do I listen to? Jesus.
Who was in your? I had podcasts, artists. I had a bunch of. I was like, oh shit, you don't even listen to rap music. Like that was what dawned on me.
You were surprised that the white guy in the jean jacket didn't listen to rap?
No, me. I was surprised. I don't.
Right.
I could have called that. I might have had a inkling.
No, I just got this whole wardrobe from the Dazed and Confused.
Be a lot cooler if you did.
Yeah, that's right. Everything from Frank Sinatra to Father John Misty to Jackson Brown to Bonnie Raitt to Bon Iver. Hollis Brown, blues, rock, country if it's good, punk rock if it's good, the Buzzcocks and the Ramones, and it really is a mixed bag. Tyler Childers is an Americana country artist.
I've heard of him. I don't know if I can name his music, but I've definitely
killer.
seen the name.
He played the same Denmark festival with me and my band when we were over there in 2019 before everything shut down.
Okay.
So I listen to a lot of people that I meet as well that maybe aren't internationally known yet.
Fair, yeah.
And then they end up being Coulter Wall, and guys like that. So a little bit of everything, man. And
cool.
Even if I don't like it, I listen to it all the way through and go, no, because you'll learn something from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'd admit to I listen to some new rap based on just like maybe there's something here I'm gonna pick up for our genre, and if I don't replay value it, that's fine, but I have to take it in.
Yep.
Bryce, we're gonna break the fourth wall. 5 minutes until we're at the number we shot for, or like that's all I've got and then we're dead.
No, minute and a half.
That's fine. We can go over a minute or two. Okay, perfect. We're not even going to cut that out. Fuck it. It's the real world. So we're going to do a thing called rapid fire here with you before we allow you to step into your comfort zone and bless us with a track. What's the track, by the way? New one off the new album coming in 2023?
We'll play a new song that nobody's really heard yet.
Fantastic.
Unless they've been to a show. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Rapid fire is where I'm just going to ask you blank or blank, and you're just going to give me an answer. And it's going to be for some people to learn 8 or 10 quick facts about
Well, I think I can do that.
We edit out that accent. Sorry, Ryan. I had jeans or sweats, but then I just was like, fuck it. We're not even going to ask the jeans or sweats question because the guy showed up in a Harewood dinner jacket or a Canadian tuxedo or whatever we call that around these parts. So pretty sure we know the answer to that one. However, jeans or sweats?
Sweats. As soon as I get home, sweats.
He puts on for the people. All right. Sun or snow?
Sun.
Drive or fly?
Drive.
Hockey or baseball?
Baseball all day.
Beer or whiskey? Ooh, we got the stank face out on that one. I knew this would be the one.
Beer.
Boots or sneakers?
Boots.
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 We're going to give double credit for that just because of how we said it. Pizza or burgers?
Fuck. That's really, those are good things.
Yeah, well,
Okay. The ultimate unit at Zach's Lounge in Ladysmith, chicken burger. That's my answer.
Zach's Lounge right there in Ladysmith. We're going to have to go check it. If you haven't been there, go get the what burger?
It's called the ultimate unit and the absolute unit chicken burger.
Are we talking about burgers still?
Yeah, it is. It
All
is.
right.
It is, and it's chicken thighs, and it's the best fried chicken.
No shit.
Gluten free. Like I give a shit, but it's gluten free.
Keeping that girlish figure on you, sir.
Well,
Black is slimming.
yeah, it's these, especially these ones. Chicken burger at Zach's, man.
Dope. I like
Yeah.
it. You answered this earlier, and I was happy to hear you answer it. At least I think so. Home cooking or Uber Eats?
Oh, home cooking all day.
Yeah, I like it. Now, finally, and I had to ask you because you mentioned you had kids. Netflix or Disney Plus?
Netflix.
Oh, I like it.
I want crime documentaries now.
Whew,
all
I
of them.
like it. Those are on the repeat spin. And I don't get a lot of time in front of the TV, but if I ever catch my lady in bed hanging out, it's on some like murder mystery shit. And I'm like,
It's
is she
amazing.
trying to figure out how to kill me or solve the fucking next crime? Like,
I got two daughters. I got the boy in the middle. I got two daughters. They can both do the best Dahmer impression from the show. From the show.
damn. Well, you said impression. I'm going to
Just
get
relax.
to it. Before you tell me your social media handles, before you tell all these fine folks where they can find you.
Yeah.
I heard you have a nasty Norm Macdonald impression. Are you a dirty work guy? Are you a
All of it.
Saturday night live weekend update guy? Just tell us where you stand on one of the late great best at it Norm Macdonald's.
When I was in especially when I was in Vancouver coming up, I would go to Yuck Yucks and all the different comedy clubs in Vancouver because I didn't want to end up being just a singer-songwriter shoegazer.
Okay.
Like, this song's called, and then play the song. This song's called, and then play the song. I wanted to have some timing. I wanted to be an entertainer. And so I would go see these comics, and I'd watch some of them die. But then somebody like Norm would come to town, and you would just see how they really were jazz musicians, right? Now, since there are no clean Norm Macdonald jokes, this is a really difficult impression.
No, you could be as filthy dirty as a pig in the mud around
Yeah,
these
but my
parts.
favorite Norms are really not politically correct at all. So,
Oh, shit.
so I will just say the one thing that he would
I'll
always
date
say.
this upload 1987. You'll be fine.
Whenever he would go to the Dennis Miller show,
Oh, my God.
he and Dennis would have a thing where Norm would go. And when Norm passed away very suddenly, he didn't tell anybody he was sick. That was like losing like Kurt Cobain for me. Like I
100%,
cried, man. He was my guy.
Fucking dude, I cried in my living room on that, and I watched his shit like incessantly for about 3-4 days just to get my fill.
And I think he's more legendary since he's passed. As that
Sadly and
happens.
accurately, dude, as
Yeah.
a rap artist, I know too many
Everybody-
fucking artists that are
everybody
like
talks
that. They're
about
way more prolific in their passing than they're living. But for a dude who was alive and crushing it for so long, you just get the underappreciated vibe. So
Yeah.
stop not giving the people what they want. Norm Macdonald.
So like he'd go there and he'd have a thing with Dennis, and it would be how many times he could say the word cock, you know? And so he would just be like, and Spade, you know the one I'm talking about already. And he's got Spade there, and Spade was kind of on his best behavior back then. And he was talking about just this part about the Viagra, and he's like, you know, and who's got, you know, the super hard cocks now? The impotent guys. And it was just like the pauses and stuff. I'm not going to go any deep. Like there's
His comedic pause.
we'll do some
and then,
shit.
by the way, like, let's make some noise in the VIP section. That's beautiful right there.
That was a
That's
joke
good
I
Norm.
did there.
Hey, you just gotta have that, and the ahs you gotta drag out, and then you
you know.
leave that pause. Man, it's
Sarah-
one of the best.
Sarah Silverman had a great story. Sarah Silverman, the great Sarah Silverman.
yeah.
She was a runner. You know, she'd pick comedians up from LAX.
Okay.
And then drive them to the Comedy Store or their hotel or wherever they were going to go. And she had this one where Norm was her hero, and she had this story where she picked up Norm from the airport, but she had some bad Chinese or something the night before. And so she's had these hot Chinese farts.
Nice.
That were just kind of filling up.
Very welcoming.
Yeah, and so Norm didn't say anything though, but she's just the whole ride. She's just perplexed. How can he not smell what's going on? And then he just said nothing, no talk at all. She just thought maybe he was tired. He gets to his accommodations. He gets out of the car, gets out of the passenger seat, walks around the front, looks at her, gets around to the window. She rolls it down, and he's like, "Hey, it smells like shit in here." So, stuff like that. Norm, all those stories are the best. He just seemed like he was singular. He was like, there's only one of those guys.
So good.
Yeah.
Shouts out to Norm Macdonald, man. What can I say?
Thanks for bringing him up.
I had to. You even tossed it in the ear earlier about like, I do a mean. I'm like, we're gonna keep that in the back pocket because Norm Macdonald, the dirty work with him and Artie Lang is just a piece of. And I mean, Don Rickles, and I believe maybe this year or last, I forget, we lost Don as well. So like some of the most hilarious.
Saget directed it.
Saget directed it. There is some fucking hilarious behind the scenes stuff of that movie that no one has even gone to find on YouTube. That is ridiculous. So having said all that, Ryan, man, we've gotten close to the finish line. We got to do one quick thing here before I let you hang out, and you're gonna rock a jam from the new album.
Sure.
I'm gonna remove the sign for the VIP section, and real quick, I wanna thank you for coming by. And as we will do every week, I've got a little something for you if you want to dig in through there.
Like right now?
Like right now.
Oh,
let's get it done.
Oh, okay.
Courtesy of not only Corey Coyote for the Van Isle Pod glasses. One of those is for you to take home. Our friends at Firehouse Grill have something for you there.
Hey, that's fantastic.
As well as a couple of things that I thought might fit your feel there from Island Royalty Apparel.
Yeah, I can put this hunter cap on and cover up this newly growing cul-de-sac that I have at the top of my head. That'll be good.
See, paid for the hair regeneration. I should have gave him a friggin' scarf. You know what I mean?
That's fantastic.
There's a mug from Mary Jane's Pure Cure for your morning coffee.
Fantastic.
And there is also a unicorn in there if you'd like to see a unicorn.
Yeah.
There's 2 of them.
That's fantastic.
They come from our friends at Lush Rooms. There's a barcode on the back if you want to check them out for everything they're doing. Shouts out to Matt and Rebecca for that.
I'll give that to my teenage boy.
There you go. He'll make a friend.
Fucking
And another
loves
t-shirt,
unicorns.
That Island Royalty package there is courtesy of our friends there at Island Royalty, and something very island specific.
Thank
along
you.
with your Van Isle Pod and a $25 gift certificate from Firehouse. The gifts don't stop there. The Nanaimo Night Owls have donated a pair of tickets as well. I know you got a busy schedule, so I wasn't going to put a pair in your hand. Baseball.
Yeah. No, I love to go and see the Night Owls.
This is why I had a feeling that you might enjoy a Night Owls
Forget
game.
about it.
I'm going to wait till the new year when you've got your schedule. Maybe I'll just connect with Kathleen on this one and see when she would like to take you guys to a game.
Yeah.
We'll get in touch. And I want to thank you, man, for coming by and being part of what we're doing here at the Van Isle Pod. I'm going to give you a minute to get ready over there. Ryan McMahon.
This is sweet, man. Thank you.
There we go. Thank you, sir. So while he gets ready, guys, I want to say thank you to a few people that helped make this possible tonight. I want to thank the Globe and Richard Scott. Couldn't do it without him, and this whole venue. If you know this place, there's been many, many incarnations of what this place has been. We hope to bring it to a live music venue and bring you the Van Isle Pod every week without any type of issue. And we want to do that with some of the more interesting people here on the island. So thank you to him. Big thank you to Dean and Firehouse Grill just down the road. If you're hanging out on Front Street in Nanaimo or anywhere in the downtown core, be sure to slide by there. I believe bastardized white boy sushi is the term he likes to use for his menu. And for that reason, you can't miss out on it because it's fantastic. And while it is something that's traditional, it puts a pretty cool twist on it. So Island Royalty Apparel has been a big part of what I've been doing for the last year and a half. As you see, big part of what's going on here. Bryce Hills, Behind the Dials, everyone in the VIP section who attended tonight. And we're excited about the inaugural shooting here of the Van Isle Pod, and I look forward to bringing something fun to you in the new year. Check out hoodstockentertainment.com for upcoming guests, as well as any of the latest gear from us. Now, Bryce Hills, are we ready to roll? Without any further ado, I want to bring to you an Artist of the Year for 2022 for Side Door. And one of my favorite guys to hang out and shoot the shit with. Make some noise for Ryan McMahon.
We can take the summer out, suss out everything we lost, and come back as an astronaut that can't get off the ground. We can fly to paradise, buy up all the movie rights, and talk about our high lives, make a mama proud. In from the rain to remember our name. What did you say? You are tired of running slow. Sometimes you're gonna get low. Yeah, you get low. We can turn the car around, roll back into town. The local bullies didn't get us down. We didn't hear them anyway. We can procrastinate, let the years betray, and give it all to the kids one day. Wasn't it all great? I come up for air from the ocean floor. I like it better down there than I did before. We don't know which way we're going to go. Sometimes you're just fine, sometimes you get low. Yeah, you get low. You can show the world you're fine and everything you bought online. The most toys at the finish line wins a mountain of debt. So play me that song of mine from back in '99, when I was always in 4/4 time, from the top till the end. So we're raising a toast to the party and the pain, 'cause you're gonna get them both every day. We don't know which way we're going to go. Sometimes you're just fine, sometimes you get low. Yeah, you get low. Sometimes you get low. Yeah, you get low.
All right, that's that. I promised you some greatness. We had Ryan McMahon here tonight. We're off to a good start. It's your boy D, aka Details, Hoodstock Entertainment, the whole deal. This has been the first episode of the Van Isle Pod. We're going to call it a success, and we're going to see you again soon. Follow us online for the latest. Shouts out to Bryce Hills behind the dials, Richard Scott in the Globe. Till the next time, it's your boy D, and I'm out of here. All right, there you go. Thank you, guys. Awesome.